If you ask the internet what to do with your own life, you will instantly freeze in place. We exist in a constant barrage of contradictory advice, where every possible direction is championed by a supposed expert shouting for your attention. There was once an educated young man who lived his life entirely by this modern rule. He returned to his village from the city, constantly chasing whatever new business trend strangers recommended. And because his knowledge was entirely borrowed, every single venture collapsed. His father, an unlettered farmer, offered a different philosophy. He advised his son to build a life based strictly on his own practical experience and genuine curiosity, ignoring the noise of the marketplace. This diagram outlines the son's mental model. He believed his father was simply ignorant, mistaking a lack of formal data for a lack of wisdom, allowing a massive sphere of external noise to consume his decision-making, while his internal compass remained entirely excluded. To break this cycle, the old farmer laid a psychological trap. He pointed to a stray donkey wandering near their fields and suggested they walk it to the market to sell, promising the profits could fund the son's next grand venture. The son agreed, focused only on the potential capital for his next business venture. He set out with his father, unaware that the road to the market would provide a much harsher education than the city ever had. The journey began with both men walking side by side, leading the donkey on a rope. Almost immediately, a passerby laughed at them, mocking the absurdity of walking until their feet bled while a perfectly good beast strolled empty. Sensitive to the criticism, they adjusted. The father climbed onto the donkey's back, leaving his son to hold the lead rope. But within minutes, another group of travelers sneered, condemning the old man as a tyrant for resting while his able-bodied son trudged through the dust. This assigned role model shows public judgment bypassing logic entirely. Onlookers jump straight to a rigid binary. Someone is the oppressor, someone the victim. When they switched places, the mechanism of judgment remained identical. The roles merely flipped, aggressively labeling the son a disrespectful brat. This creates an unsolvable paradox. You can never perfectly appease external judgment because the rules of the crowd aren't based on objective standards. They are entirely reactive to whatever you happen to be doing at the moment. Any attempt to perfectly align your life with public opinion is futile. The crowd's judgment is a reflection of their own internal projections, not your reality. Desperate to find the correct configuration, they tried a total compromise. Both father and son squeezed onto the donkey's back together. This triggered a shift toward moral outrage. A new set of critics approached, furious at the cruelty of crushing a mute animal under the weight of two grown men. Society will invariably find a higher moral ground from which to look down on you. Exhausted, pushed tone, driven to the edge of madness by the noise, the men completely surrendered their agency. They found a thick wooden pole, tied the donkey's legs, and attempted to march down the road carrying the animal upside down on their shoulders. The response from the street wasn't approval. It was explosive laughter. A group of villagers pointed at the absurd spectacle, shouting that they were watching two donkeys carrying a third. Thoroughly defeated by the physical strain and the relentless humiliation, the father and son dropped the ropes. They left the bewildered animal in the dirt and collapsed into the shade of a nearby tree. Twisting yourself to accommodate every contradictory voice in the room eventually strips away your identity, leaving you as a bizarre caricature of your own intentions. Sitting in the dust under that tree, the young man finally broke the cycle. He declared to his father that he was done seeking the crowd's approval. From that moment on, he would only take action based on what he personally understood to be correct and meaningful. He followed this up with his first truly authentic decision. He refused the idea of unearned money from the market and instead resolved to track down the stray donkey's rightful owner and return it. Fast forward to a later point where the family farm was thriving. Reflecting on his past failures, the son realized he had traded his own judgment for the fleeting opinions of strangers. His losses in the city were the direct result of that intellectual surrender. The old farmer smiled at this realization, offering his final, defining piece of advice. He told his son, "Listen carefully to everyone's counsel, but forge your final decisions exclusively from your own understanding and experience." What the son never learned was that the donkey was never meant for the market. The unlettered farmer had meticulously orchestrated the entire traumatic journey as a psychological experiment, designed specifically to shatter his son's paralyzing illusion of public opinion. As you map out your own path, take a moment to evaluate whose voices are steering your choices. If this story offered you a clearer perspective, please like, share, and subscribe to Global Life Stories. True wisdom requires engagement with the world. You just have to filter its endless, chaotic noise through the unbreakable boundary of your own internal truth.